Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House, or what I'd like to call here recently Water World, with all the rain we've been having. But today I'm going to build these timber frame, sawhorse, workhorse, whatever you want to call them. We'll do it in one day. We'll be using two logs that have been laying around the log yard for a while and need to get cut up. One pine, one poplar, and we're going to marry them together. And for me, getting a project started and finished in one day is an accomplishment. So come along, let's make some sawdust, and we're actually going to tear some things up too. So before I can start milling my 5 8x8 posts that I need to make up the main structure of the timber frame sawmill shed, I need to be able to have a place to store them once they're cut that gets them off the ground, allows me to tarp them up, because this is poplar. The last thing I want to do is leave this laying on the ground very long. And not only do I need to get my 5 posts milled, but the other components that make up the bent or the main structure, I need to get those milled first so I can come back and do joinery all at once. So the game plan is mill these things, set them up in a spot where I can get to them easily, and then start milling the other items so I have the raw material, and then come back and do all the joinery, test fitting, all those things. So when it comes time to erect the structure, hopefully everything works. But we need to keep them off the ground, we need to keep them dry, and we need to take care of that. So the first thing we're going to do is build these supports to hold them while they're in limbo, drying and waiting for joinery. So while you've seen in a video a while back, I made a timber frame sawhorse to do joinery on. Those are kind of tall, and some of you guys even commented and said, oh, those are too tall. And they're only, I think, about 3 feet wide. What I want to build is what you see here in this SketchUp design, something simple, 2 feet off the ground, sturdy, I'll be all 6x6, and be 6 feet long. That way I can stack multiple beams or posts up on it, get it off the ground. So that'll be an actual staging. So right now I'm just going to be building them to be as a rack, and then if I like how those come out, maybe make some more to double as racks and actual work surfaces when it comes time to do that joinery. So the first thing I need to do is swap out the blade on the mill. That one's done. I'll need to go to the workshop and get another blade, and then get our first log on deck and see what we can get. Okay, so what I've got on the mill today is a Virginia pine that came from the property here. It's been laying on the ground for a while, I think maybe even last fall. It is a couple inches under 10 feet, and the bark, most of the bark is gone, which is nice. And it is on the small end, it's about a 16-inch diameter. On the other end's got a crotch that takes it over 20 inches, but obviously that's going to mill out. So I think we'll be close if we use our 25% of a round log is what your cant's going to be, and that's rough. Sometimes 25, 28, 23 and a half, whatever. Possibly could get a 12-inch cant out of this. If that's the case, that'll allow us to mill 4 6x6s. If we have a little bit of wane, it's actually fine. All I need, since this is just work surface, I just need the top surface to be clean, not have any wane in it. So if we have some on a couple of the sides, we'll still be okay. I think we'll be able to get a 4-way cut out of this, but we'll just see. Let's get it going and see what happens. Well, it appears the mill is out of gas, which means we're completely out of gas because we had to run the generator for multiple days this week with a power outage. I'm out of diesel, And the side-by-side's on empty, and I always put high test in it. Don't ask me why, just what I was told at the beginning. So 3 different types of fuel that I need to purchase in bulk at $3.47 a gallon for regular unleaded, and everything else goes up from there. This is going to hurt, is what it is. Price of homesteading, right? I'm not going to bring you guys with me. There's nothing more boring than going to the gas station, but I'm going to take a break real quick, get all the cans loaded up, and get fueled up, get back, get it disseminated, and get back to milling. Don't mill the log supports, for crying out loud. Now that was a good blade. Okay, so I got 3 6x6s. I got 2 out of that pine, and then grabbed a quick, it wasn't a quick log, it was still laying there. Grabbed a log quickly over here with poplar. It's actually starting to get a little punky. Had some mycelial growth going on there. So milled it up, got a good 6x6 out of it. And I think what I'm going to do is do my fabrication and assembly. Might as well just do it right here. I've got a perfectly flat workspace. Got this as the bucket as a workbench. Get my pieces cut and then do the assembly, and of course use the tractor bucket to transport it down to where I'm going to have them staged. So the first thing I need to do is I want to start with my feet, and I think I want to do the feet in the Virginia pine. They last just a little bit longer in ground contact than poplar does. And since that one's already got some funk growing in it, we'll go to the pine. So we'll do the feet with the pine. We're going to do 30-inch foot base. And then our riser, our leg that sticks up, is going to be around 18, maybe a little less. The overall height I want to be 24. And I can't remember the dado that I'm going to make is going to be the depth. The depth is going to be determined by the depth of my circular saw, which I think is like 2.5 or 2 3/8. So that'll determine the depth. One of these days I'm going to buy one of those really big timber frame saws. That'd be awesome. But I'll do that, and that'll determine, because the end height I want is 24 inches. I want it to be 2 feet off the ground, and that way I can stage things on them, but then also even work off of them without any issues. So I need to start squaring up some ends here and see what we can get. Also, before I forget yet again, I've been meaning to say this the last 2 videos, we are co-hosting, Red Tool House Farm is co-hosting a homesteading conference here in Charleston, West Virginia, September 13th and 14th. And we've got a pretty good lineup so far. We've got Joel Salatin, we got Josh Draper from Stony Ridge Farm, we've got Beth and Sean Doherty, we've got Nathan Elliott from Out of the Woods. He's going to be talking about sawmilling, which I think is pretty cool. Got Chuck Lewis coming up from Sheridan Park Farm. I'll be presenting as well. And we've got a lot of other really good educational tracks from experts in those fields, and we're announcing that as we go along. But right now in April, we've got an early bird special on the tickets, and the venue is right in Charleston. It's close to all the retail. There's hotels, there's accommodations in that area. And of course, we'll be having a meet and greet with us. You can come hang out with us for 2 days. We'd love to see you all. So I'm going to post a link down below in the video description to the website where you can purchase the tickets, find out more. But keep coming back, because we're going to be adding more info to the website as we get it updated. All right, let's get back to our work. Wish you guys could smell this fresh cut pine. It reminds me of being at the state hospital. All right, so that ended up making that, yeah, 2.5. So I'm going to go down another 30 inches for my other leg and do my joinery again that way, and then we'll cut. That way I've got elevated surface and a heavy board to work on. I don't have to worry about it taking off. Okay, so I've got 3 feet made with their dados. I don't have enough material here to do another 30, So I'll have to separate this and get it from other 6x6. But I can get one of my legs, one of my verticals, because those only have to be 17 inches. And I believe I've got 25 inches here. So I'm going to square this end up while it's still big. We don't have to fool around with it when it's a smaller piece. And then we'll start busting this up. So this one has turned into be a little bit of a challenge. I was doing my kerf cutting for my dado, and this was a split that was in a log, of course, along a growth ring. So that came out kind of halfway. But I think I got my depth right. I just got to clean this up. It's a bit ugly. Again, if this was any type of structure, I would have to punt on this one and get another one. But, as Kelly likes to hear me say, we ain't building a clock today. I guess one of these days I need to build a clock to show that I can do it. Okay, never let it be said that I don't show the mistakes and issues here at Red Tool House. So, cutting my 30, my severing cut, made my first cut with the circular saw. And there we go. So, that would still work. I mean, this is the foot, so this is the top of the foot, so it actually would shed water. Yeah. I'm just going to cheat. I'm going to put some screws in it. Never know what's going on with wood. Would I have known? Would I? All right. I don't normally do this, but I got to tell a joke. I've known this joke since I was a kid. A friend of ours from camp would always tell this joke. So there was a guy, teenage guy, and he had a wooden eye. And he was super self-conscious about that wooden eye. He couldn't afford to go out and buy a good glass eye. The wood eye was the only thing he could have. And his friends convinced him it's not that big a deal, nobody really notices, and trying to get him to come to the annual dance. He didn't want to go to the dance because he was afraid somebody would make fun of him. And his friends kept egging on, finally convinced him to come. He said, but if I get one issue, one statement, I'm out of here. On the other side of town, Betty was having the same situation. See, Betty had a really large nose. Unfortunately, she just had bad genetics working for her, that she had this hawkbill of a nose. And her friends were trying to convince her to go to the dance, but she didn't want to because she knew the boys would make fun of her and call her names about her nose. But they finally convinced her to come. So here they are at the dance. We've got Jim, who's got the wooden eye, and you've got Betty, who has the large nose, and they're kind of being wallflowers. Well, finally, Jim's friends say, you got to go ask Betty to dance. She'll do it. She'll dance with you. Do it. And he just couldn't muster up the courage to do it. So they pushed him and pushed him. They got close to halfway point of the dance, and finally Jim got some courage. He walks over to where Betty is sitting in a chair on the side of the wall, and he says, Betty, would you like to dance? And she says, would I? And he goes, big nose, big nose, big nose. So there you go. And after this one, you guys could be making jokes about my ugly feet. Ugly. Okay, so now I'm going to start on one of the crossed it's been a long day. Start on one of the tops, and I've got a little bit of wane over here just on the edge of my 6 foot. This would be 6 foot here. It's going to cut off about 10 inches. So I think I'm going to make this my top. Baby, you're the tops. And then we're going to roll this over, and we're going to do our same dados that we did in the feet, so the small legs can be housed in that. So I think, going back and forth on this, it's all about scale, right? So if I do that, thinking about, do I do 12 inches of overhang, so that puts a leg there, and I think I just need to do 6 inches of overhang. That way she's legs are a little bit broader. Give her good berth and hips, something that can handle the weight. Yeah, 6 inches overhang it is. Yow. All right, people. I know y'all were enraptured by my rapier-like wit, that you too didn't catch the fact that I didn't turn this over, so my dados would be on the side that has wane. Now this side has to be my work surface. I can't count on you guys for nothing. All right, so there's one of our crossbars. Just a little bit of wane. I guess it'll be okay. The problem is where I wrote top right here on the bottom is now going to be mocking me the entire time. Oh well. Okay, so now all I need is one more cross top, one more 6 foot piece, and then 3 more 17-inch legs, and then we'll be ready to stitch this turkey together. I think I'm going to start on this end with my legs, because that end has some wane on it. That was the shorter end, or the top end of the log, smaller diameter. And I'll square this end, 3/17, and then we should have enough for 6 foot without any wane coming into play there. All right, my camera died, so I've got it tethered to a charger, so I'm a little less mobile than I usually am. But I've got my 4 legs done now, and I swapped. So here's the first pine top bar. Here's the poplar that we have left. I moved it up here so I wouldn't be bent over. And I'm going to do the same thing. Cut it to 6 feet. Put the 2 dados in it. Do the dados first before I cut it to 6 feet. All right, so all the pieces are milled. I haven't fit them yet. Milled. Or cut. I haven't done a dry fit yet. I cannot talk. But instead of doing any type of fancy timber frame joinery, dowel pins, mortises, or anything like that, we're just going to use some 6-inch deck screws. And we'll start putting it together. I think I'm going to put the feet together first, set those down, and then be able to set the top on top and screw those down. So let's see. Suck it down. That was my ugly leg. I got one good leg. All right. Did I turn it? There we go. Two legs. Dare we try to put a top on? Might as well. All right, so we got one that's, my dado's too small. I think I can just go over here and do one curve. Oh yeah. Fine adjustment tool here. Oh my goodness. Oh, the ground is wet. I think it's a little bit stout. Oh, I tore my dead cat off. Oh yeah, daddy like. Don't do timber framing, I can practice my gymnastics. The balance beam. I think I'm going to try this next one a little differently as far as assembly goes. Do it in reverse. Ooh, that fits nice. We got quite a bit on that one. Almost a double kerf. Feet. Oh yeah, daddy like. Oh, that one's got some slop in it. All right, well, I think that's going to work for today. I was going to move them down, but I got to clear out some spots to set up where I'm going to be. I'm trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to do my layout and timber frame work. It'd be nice to do it right here beside the project, but that gets in the way when I need to mill, and obviously gets in the way when I need to drive through here. So we'll probably be down where the mill used to be in that spot. But I still got to figure that out. May have to come back and put some more screws in that. It just depends on how much I monkey around with these things. This foot here where a lot of the wood fell away, that was the one that, that there was a little bit of slop in the joint as well. So that, I had to put I turned out a couple extra screws into that just to hold that. So we'll see. Not quite sure about that one yet. This is definitely going to work for stabilizing my posts when I get them milled. The plan is to set them on here, cover them with a tarp, of course, while I continue to mill other things. And may have to make more of these just to have. Maybe 6x6 was a little bit overkill. Maybe I could have gotten away with 4x4, but I really like the sturdiness of it. It'd be handy to have multiple sets of these around. Well, I'm tired and I'm rambling, so I'm going to call it. I really appreciate everybody watching. Pray y'all have a great week. Take care.